Hey everybody, YouTube, Gab, Twitter, Facebook. I don't post too much on Facebook because I don't know, Facebook really is not the forum, I guess, for this or whatever. But today's one of those days where I think it's very important. Um, so I'm sharing with everybody. If you don't want to listen, turn it off. Okay. Um, I received word from a friend of mine. We were in Afghanistan together, and it seems that one of our brothers in arms um, took his own life a couple of days ago. I don't know all the details of how he did so, and I really don't really care. But with that being said, what I wanted to do is I wanted to get out a Veterans Day video, and I wanted to put it out in time for it to get around um, to everyone involved. Basically, this video is going to go to a lot of my brothers in arms that I have met and remain friends with. We all have pretty much dedicated or promised each other that we would make a video and we would send it to each other for us to make sure each other was okay. It's very difficult sometimes when you talk on the phone, or you're talking on social media to determine if that person's okay or not. So we wanted to verify best we could that whoever we were speaking with was okay, and just basically checking in. And basically what we've done is just to make sure everybody's okay, to see where we're at. The question was asked to the group, um, what are you thinking today on this Veterans Day, and post it. Um, so in other words, you can't just rant. You really got to have some kind of point to what you're talking about. For people like me, that's difficult. But anyway, here we go. Um, if I'm speaking a little bit loud, it's because I've got a new mic, and me and computers, man. Tell you what, right now with computers, it's lucky I have one because I'm about shot. I got two, and I about shot both of them. I'm getting frustrated. But here we go. Veterans Day. Um, Veterans Day to me today means that we celebrate those who wore the uniform in the armed services. Marine Corps, hoorah, that's my home corps. The Army, served there too. Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and the National Guard. If I'm forgetting anybody, that's all the ones that mean to me, anything to me. So, I guess they don't matter. They don't get theirs today. But as we celebrate these individuals in uniform, I want to pass on some things that I have noticed, and also that we conversate about with each other that we're experiencing. And I wanted to reiterate those and my comments on those. Number one is that luckily today I just got back from my doctor's appointment. This was my first appointment where I got to go see a civilian doctor, my own doctor of my choosing, instead of having to go to the VA. For those of you know, Trump just passed a measure to allow this to happen, which is great news for veterans, especially for me that live 3 hours away from any facility to do any kind of specialty work. So I'm looking forward to that, and I feel good about that. And I want to thank taxpayers, Trump, everybody for allowing us to do that. I believe if this would have been an option earlier, that we may have saved a lot of lives, because the fact of it is that we've got 22 people a day that are veterans who commit suicide. Um, some guess at the reasons. One of my main reasons is because it takes you 6 months to get in to see a mental health provider. Um, so you got 6 months before you actually do that. This is in addition to the year or year and a half that you have to get your paperwork approved. That's how backed up the VA still is. But I just wonder if we would have got some of these people in here earlier to see Doc, how many people we could have saved. I guess we'll never know. Second thing that I've noticed is that overall, I still have the same thoughts on mine. I know what you guys' thoughts are, but from my standpoint, adjusting to the civilian community um, has been a difficult one. Um, for the mere fact is that people look at me or talk to me as if, you don't know nothing. You've been going to Afghanistan, for a year. You're out of touch. You've been in combat. You're crazy. We don't know what PTSD is. We overreact because of your military bearing, because of your discipline, the way you carry yourself. It scares us. Things of that nature, which I'm not going to work on changing. I mean, I've actually tried to, I guess, get back to my normal self where I used to be, but I really don't want to be that person again. Um, I'm proud of my service. I'm proud of being able to wear two uniforms, and I am very considerate of the fact that I got to serve. I didn't have to go back to the thing to where I was drafted or whatever. I volunteered to go. I volunteered to go into combat. Matter of fact, that was my main reason for joining. The question was asked to me the other day, why did you go to Afghanistan? I didn't really answer that question because it's like, you know what? They're really gonna think I'm crazy if I say, well, I went to go get in combat. I wanted to fight. I didn't want to sit back and talk about it. I wanted to go and not prove myself, but I wanted to go and, believe it or not, I thought I was doing the right thing, and I still do. Um, we have many veterans here today. I'm not going to make the correlation between veterans and combat veterans. I've been through one of my web pages that I actually host. I have been told a couple of things. Number one was that the majority of veterans that are here in our area don't have any problems. They well adjusted, and they don't see things as I do from a veteran standpoint. Basically, what they're saying or telling me is the fact is these individuals have just forgot about their military service, and they moved on with their life, and they said, doesn't matter. I find that hard to believe from any veteran because, especially, and I have to do it, but a combat veteran who's actually had to, depend on the guy to the left or the woman, man or woman, left of you or right of you, there's just some things that you just can't forget. There's things that I know, I've seen, and that I can't believe that a human being can do that to another. Um, so I don't really understand the mentality that you're never gonna that you can just push that aside. I mean, that's something you have to learn to deal with, but I don't think that you can. I don't think that I could ever, and I'm never going to be able to erase those memories. Um, so general consensus here, where I've decided to settle is um, veterans. That's just a part of. You chose to do that. You're on your own. Um, I'm not asking for anything. I don't want a discount. I don't want anything from anybody. I really don't. I've gone past the point of people actually meaning it when they say, thank you for your service. I've gone past the issue of for people saying, what was it like? Did you kill anybody? See Obama? I mean, Bin Laden. You know, I run out of answers for that. I'm just like, only thing I say now is that, you know what? I didn't see Bin Laden. I should have chased the hell out of him. No, I couldn't find him. So, um, uh, that's the way I kind of deal with it. But lately, based on feedback that I get, and I see the mentality of other people, um, especially, and I'll say it, civilians, it bothers me and it gets to me, and I'll go through these reasons why. I saw a clip today. A friend of mine named Ina. Um, she's a true patriot. She gets up and stands up, and she's not afraid to say what she feels and stand up for what she believes, and I really respect her for that. We don't agree on everything, but she's the only woman I know that that got me to wear a pink shirt. Let's put it that way. So that, for whatever that means. Anyway, this video was shared to me by Miss Ina, and it gave a story. A lady who was married to a naval officer. I believe he was a captain, but he may have been higher. I'm not sure. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But anyway, she lost her husband in combat on the Mekong Delta, and she was on a Delta flight that was coming in, and the passengers were advised by the by the whoever's flying the plane, pilot. Yeah, that's that name. The pilot, that they were going to stay a little bit longer on the tarmac because they had a dead soldier or a Marine that they were transporting back home. So they were going to allow time for the color guard to come and escort him off the plane. Now, with every body that comes back, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's actually a person in charge of making sure that individual gets home. A lot of times it's your buddies. A lot of times it's somebody preferably somebody that the family or that you've spoken with, or and whatever. But anyway, so he always travels with him, so he's always in full uniform. Well, this lady, after hearing this, thought it would be a good idea, and she passed it across by word of mouth, passed it and said, "We're going to sing the national anthem," when it was national anthem. Whenever in honor of him while he's being taken off the plane. So word passed. A lot of people. I mean, I don't know how numbers or whatever. I wasn't there, but anyway. A lot of people agreed, so that would be a very good thing to do. Well, word got back to the stewardesses about this, and the stewardess came over and told the lady, "No, we don't allow that on the plane. It's against our policy." Delta Airlines, it's against your policy. Okay. So my first question was, what the hell are you going to do to me? I mean, crap, But anyway, she accepted that, and she sat down in her seat. This Marine that was escorting him was hustled off real quick to make a scene. He was hustled off to get the time frame from the tarmac. In other words, to speed that shit up. Well, this lady, at the end of her video, she stated that as she sat there, and she thought about it going home, she said that she felt so bad that she was literally hurt. Her heart hurt because she wasn't allowed to do so. But also she said that she was hurt because of the fact is that she allowed them to tell her to do something that she wanted to do, that she felt and others felt was the right thing. Someone told her no, she can't honor this Marine. So then with that, I look at the Mandalay Bay shooting. I've made videos on this about my research and what I've looked at and the whole 9 yards. And like I said earlier, I can't make a determination where I've got it. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I go by facts, but I don't go by what people tell me. A wise man once told me, believe half of what you see and nothing that you read. So I kind of go by that old creed, especially now. So wisdom is passed down, believe it or not. But anyway, Mandalay Bay comes to mind, not because of the fact that how it happened or whatever. I just find it weird that we ain't got no answers in 30 days. I ain't had no updates or nothing. I'm just saying, hey, I'm just saying. So I'm going to wait till all the information comes out so I can make up my own darn mind. But anyway, it was noted and stated that during the Mandalay attack that there were a lot of veterans that ran toward the fire. There were veterans who actually stole trucks to go and pick up wounded to get them to the hospital. There were veterans who were first responders on the scene. They were there before the cops got there because they were in the crowd, and they started EMS procedures. Every soldier, anybody in the military is basically trained. I see a combat medic, basically. I mean, you can do basic Red Cross skills like start the breathing, stop the bleeding, protect the wound, treat for shock, and get this person to where they're stable enough to get them the hell out of Dodge. Well, veterans stepped up and they were recognized because not only were they getting wounded out, but they took charge. They were directing where everybody needed to go. They were directing these trucks, getting them. That they prioritized. You could see they had done triage. They had marked which ones needed to go first, second, and third, and they were able to communicate this to the ambulance drivers when they got in. So, with that, I think that with that quick reaction with the police and the EMS and all that was done, I believe that this could have been a lot worse. But once again, this is an example of how veterans step up to the plate and can analyze the situation, then they can understand the situation, and then they can react accordingly. That's trained. That's not something that you're just born with. You need to be trained to do that. So, with that being said, there are a lot of instances where veterans have come into play to help people, to draw fire, to figure a damn situation out, and act upon it. And a lot of these veterans can tell you to this day is that the difference between the civilians and a veteran is a civilian will sit there and argue about what they're supposed to do, and a veteran just somebody takes charge and everybody does what they're supposed to do. No questions. Let's get it done. Of course, that's the difference between a veteran and a civilian. I guess maybe take it where you was, but anyway, sometimes it just ain't time to argue. Sometimes you just got to go get something done. Gunnery sergeant told me one time that we were getting ready to go through a convoy, and he told me one time, I think it was like my first one, riding in the right seat. He told me, he said, "Man, just remember one thing." He said, "Do something." He said, "Right, wrong, indifferent." He said, "Do something. Don't leave your people hanging around on the ground and arguing and fussing and fighting and shit." So I took light to that. So I'm gonna try to keep this video short, but I got a lot to say. But anyway, that seems to be one of the differences between civilians and veterans. Today, in the veteran community, I have seen a trend to where Veterans are pulling away and getting into their own place because the fact is they don't fit in. Whose fault is that? I don't know, but civilians definitely contribute to the factors because we represent a war that they didn't want to fight, that they didn't feel right about fighting. Good, bad, or indifferent, or whatever, they had the luxury of sitting back on a couch and deciding if the war was right or where it was wrong. A veteran didn't have that right. A veterans are military personnel across the world are trained. You go and you follow orders. Period. You follow orders or people die. Tom Cruise said that. No, it's just that simple. So, civilians have a hard time understanding what we went through, and we have a hard time telling them because there's no words that can describe it. You can't. Because, to be all honest with you, you had to be there to believe it. However, the fact is, the civilians don't even want to know. They take their opinion against the war, and they kind of deflect it on you, like you the one who started the damn thing. I mean, I keep telling them, don't hate the player, man. Hate the game. I mean, hell, I didn't make up the rules and shit. I just went where they told me, believing in what I did. Now, everyone will say, do you have your opinion? Do you think it's right? Do you want? I didn't have a choice at that time. So individuals here say, well, you're brainwashed and you couldn't think for yourself. No, that's not it. Because, see, that's something that civilians will never get. A true warrior doesn't fight for no flags, no country, or no politician. He fights for himself and that woman or that man standing beside him, because he knows when he looks into their eyes, they're going to cover his ass and you're going to cover his, no matter what. We leave no one behind. We take that mentality here. We believe that when we got home, we could make a difference based on our experience and what we learned from fighting for our freedom. Not just talking about it, but fighting for it. We believed we could come home and we could make a difference here at home. We believed no more fighting and let's go to work and let's get to work on America's problems. We are finding out now they don't need us. We are told to sit down and shut up. In a country to where you can be arrested at a city council meeting for standing up when they're breaking the law and saying something, telling them you're breaking the law. You can be arrested for vulgarity that only you heard. That's just my own personal experience, and some of you guys have shared some of yours. We get in trouble for doing the right thing, for speaking up, because we know better. We cannot accept the fact of people telling us to sit down and shut up. Your opinion doesn't matter. That's what we face today. We are pushed to the back burner and we were pushed into a corner. We don't want to hear what you have to say. You represent the government, everything we hate, you work for them. We don't want to have to hear what you say. Because somehow the time in a year or 13 months that you spent over in Afghanistan, you lost all your freaking sense and you don't know nothing and you never learned nothing, and you know what? Your memory has just been gone and you can't remember how we do things back here. I'm sorry. I do it the way the Constitution says. If there's some other kind of damn way to do it, please tell me, because I don't have that list. I don't. Please tell me the book that I can go down to. Please tell me the book I can go to the library and check out so I can be knowledgeable as you. But I can't, and most of us guys can't sit back and sit on the damn couch and bitch about it. A wise man once told me, he said, you know what, you can't bitch if you don't vote. But not until these days do I realize exactly what he meant. You can't have an opinion if you don't participate. You can't sit back and judge others and you not do a damn thing. If it's important for you to sit back here and bitch about it now, why was it important enough for you to stand up? Good point. So now, with all of these experiences that I'm getting that are happening right now, one of the greatest things that happen right now is that JFK files are open. I don't know who's calling me, but it must be very important. So now I have research to do on that, because whether my family realizes it or anybody realizes it or not, when I was in high school, that fascinated me. I read everything I could on JFK. I still have my opinion on that, but it don't matter. So what we're learning as veterans, that our opinion just doesn't matter. And based on what we have learned in this group, we're supposed to accept it. We were in charge of men whose orders were based on saving their lives. We were trusted with military gear up to the millions of dollars. But we can't even voice our opinion when we're back in the States. Sit down and shut up. We have those now that decide to take a kneel when the American flag is raised in the national anthem. It was brought up to me to say, yeah, they have the right. You're right. They do. There's no one who understands their rights more perfectly than I do. You know the reason why? Because I fought for them. Please tell me I didn't fight for an individual to disrespect the very flag that represents the state where he became a millionaire. Please tell me they have better things to do. Like, why don't they make a stand against domestic violence against NFL players? Why don't they stand up and say you can't, it's not right if you have to wait till Saturday to determine what your lineup's going to be for Sunday just to see who you can get out of jail? But they have a right to kneel down in front of the flag. Okay. You're right. I personally believe that that's not the time and place. There's a time and place for everything. The Lord says so. We would like to know, what I would like to know, is there a time, there's a purpose, or is there any place that I can go to enjoy an evening without politics being mentioned? I pay for my cable. I don't pay to see players kneeling down and disrespecting my flag. Whether you decide to do so or not, once you cross those lines, you are a part of a team. You represent an organization. Even if you choose not to be represented or not represent the United States of America, you're a part of a team that belongs to a nation that was formed because you could actually, it's capitalization, you can actually make a living doing what you do, playing with a damn ball. And you disrespect the individuals who actually died and fought for it. I can't condone that. If you want to protest, great. Go down to the city hall or to your county and get a permit. Say we're gonna march today. Invite every Tom, Dick, and Harry and their frickin' brother. You got places now where you can show up at protests and you ain't wearing no damn clothes if you're a male. But if you're a female, you get arrested. Explain that to me like I'm a 3-year-old. Nobody said life was going to be fair. The person who actually today actually can stand up and have an opinion is because the fact is he learned from his past mistakes. Because one of the best things you can ever remember is when you screwed up. You don't really remember all your successes as much as you do when you screwed up. All you can do is get better and change it. On Veterans Day, we respect not only the individual who wears that uniform, but we respect the wives, the family, the kids, everyone close to this individual for the sacrifice they had to make to get up every day and wonder how that individual was. If they were okay today. We celebrate the wives who had to stand every day by the phone, scared to answer the phone. Wonder if they was going to get the call. It's for the day the kids can actually be recognized that their father or their grandfather was a veteran and he sacrificed for me. What did it cost me? It cost me time I didn't get to know him. It cost me time I didn't get to spend with him. Because he was always gone. It cost me from having a figure that I could see every day. The best I could do was see him on a video. It honors those people. Because they too paid the sacrifice. But who pays for it? It's the vet. Because see, while you're gone for 13 months, the whole world moves on. When you get home, it ain't the same damn world you left. Things change. People going about their lives. They don't remember. All they know is that when you sit down and have a beer, you ain't the same damn person you used to be. And that scares them. Men and women in uniform who have ever worn the uniform have a sense of pride. They display it in their walk. They display it in their attitude. They display it in just how they present themselves to others. We decide when we get back we have to change. We have to change that mental discipline because people do not understand it. So you try. But it ain't no getting over that fact. You ain't never gonna be little Tommy or little Janie that left the neighborhood. That person is gone. And being a proud veteran means, you know what? We ain't ashamed of it. I heard my buddy say, you know what? It's time for them to stop acting like that and stop trying to fit in. Start accepting who you are. Because you are the ultimate one who's got to live with that. We know through our military service you can't please everyone. We know in the military we put principles before personalities. I don't care if you hate me as an E5. That's my job. You're supposed to hate me. Because I'm the one who's going to train your ass to make sure you survive. My job is not for you to have you liking and hold hands and swamp spit in the shower. My job is very simple. Bring your ass back home. We made promises to family. We made promises to parents and wives. I was going to do everything I can to take sure and make sure your loved one gets home. That's what I did. And that's what veterans do every damn day. So, in closing, what we've learned and what we've decided, or what I've decided for our little group, as we can stand down and we can just try to be a part of the community that we don't understand, or we can implement the fact and the values and morals that we were taught to let us know when to make a stand. For some of us, it might be the last stand. For speaking up. For being that individual. For daring those to do their duty. We're going to pay the consequence. We're the one who decides if it's worth it or not. We will hold no longer the view of civilians to dictate how we run our life. Many of us have bought property on our VA bill, the GI Bill, got an education, VA loans, you got your property. We make a stand right here. This is your sacred ground. This is the Alamo. Civilians can do whatever the hell they want to do and go to hell in a handbasket if they want to. But right here at this time, this is your place. This is where you belong. I can speak for myself, and I know many others have gotten involved and tried to change the situation, and it's frustrating as hell. Because it's frustrating when you're trying to prove and tell people what's wrong and what's going on in their life and what you've seen and how they can end up, and they won't believe it because the fact is they can't frickin' read, or they refuse to read the reports that actually come to them. We as veterans know that we relied on intelligence reports. We looked at documentation. We made up our own decision. I think we should continue to do that. Nobody's asking us to change the world, and we don't want to. But I got one closing point for everybody. For everyone who decides to sit on a couch. Who everybody sits back and tries to judge everybody else. Who everybody looks down their nose or treats a veteran or actually questions if they even need to be around them or if they even need to be listened to. We're out of the game. We no longer hold ourselves to a position where you can pass judgment and it affect us. We find and fight for the greater good that you and I that we desire. If we see something wrong, try and fix it. Because you, the veteran, every night has to lay down on that pillow and you got to answer to the man upstairs and the people you lost because you promised them you'd carry on and you promised them you'd do the right thing. That's what we do. That's what we do. Now, let me ask the public, and this is my last thing I'm going to say. It's okay for an NFL football player or any professional sport to kneel down in front of a flag. Individuals. That flag don't represent just a country. It represents individuals who fought for it. They paid the sacrifice so you could go on. Somebody paid a price and worked and went to war so you can wear an NFL uniform. Robert E. Lee, after the war was over with, couldn't pay his taxes on his land, so it was taken from him by the U.S. government at the time. He lived out his rest of his life in a small little place. All of his land, the land that he fought for, what he fought for, he believed that he was protecting that land, was taken away from him. What did they decide to do with that land? Today they call it Arlington National Cemetery. I think maybe you've heard about it. So for every one of you individuals who decide to sit on your butt, for every one of you who decide that you have better ideas but won't do nothing about it, and for any of you who mistaken a person who's ever worn a uniform, we don't get it, we do. But one point keeps nagging at me. What if during the Mandalay incident, Pulse, San Bernardino, all these time these veterans came up and helped civilians once again? What if we united, decided as veterans to take a knee? What if we decided to say, you know what, you're on your freaking own? What if we decided to say, you know what, I don't want to fight today? What if I just said, I'm going to take a knee, and guess what? By me taking a knee, your son or daughter is going to be more in jeopardy, more probably to come home wounded. How do you kneel to that? What kind of people are we to not recognize individuals who put their ass on the line just so you can sit back here in that chair and sit there on the TV and watch the same shit over and over again and bitch? If you don't vote, you can't participate. And if you're not participating, what good's your freaking opinion? What are you doing to try to change your environment to make it better? I know my father and my mother, I'd rest her. My father got up every damn morning, worked graveyard, did everything he could to do one thing: provide me with a better life than he had. Where do we forget that? So, from my standpoint, guys, it's very simple. I don't quit. I never quit on you. I never let you quit. Even though sometimes I'm telling you, we thought about it. A lot of times we didn't like it. But we were also reminded every damn day, you ain't got to like it, but damned if you don't show up. For those who decide that you do not want to participate, for those of you who decide that it's better to sit back and criticize someone who's trying to make a difference, for those individuals who look down your nose at people like me, because the fact is that we fought, and that's not our only way of improving our life, but we come from the same damn ground you did, and you won't accept it. For those of you who put yourself in another group to look down on other people and define everybody by a group, I have one word for you. For those individuals who want to bitch and complain and write shit to you on the Facebook, Twitter, and everything else, come tell me in public. Come tell me to my face. As of today, the military barracking starts. As of today, the whine and crying stops. Today, after today, the burials stop. Today, we move on as veterans. We move on because we can. We move on in spite of them. Everyone else who chooses the lower road, you're a coward. And we do not accept cowardice. Not from no one. But for those of you who believe, those who participate, and those that want to make a change for you and you're better for your kids, and you believe in something, I'll stand right next to you. We'll get it done. think we need to realize and understand again where we're actually at in this country and what we've seen over our period of time. And stop giving it up and saying, you know what, let the government handle it. Let the city handle it. Let the county handle it. Let the United States handle it. When we should be handling our own damn selves. Since when did we decide we were special and everybody's supposed to help us? And we don't lift a finger to help ourselves. This is my Veterans Day message. Today, when it turns Veterans Day, I will stand by any vet in my community. And you can bet your ass I'll shake their hand. If you are a civilian and you have the right to come and talk to me or talk down to the people that I think that I respect, you don't deserve my attention. Because you're a coward. And everybody knows from Third Herd knows one damn thing. We accept a lot of things from a lot of people who changed backgrounds or whatever. We all learn how to get along to make things better. And if those didn't want to help, then you're in the way. Lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way. The change starts now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it done. I don't want to hear of no other veteran by second hand or whatever who I know who has taken or thought about taking their life. My number is on my Facebook page, and I ask you, please give me a call any time or day. I will answer the phone. The bullshit stops today. I'm here for anybody that has war uniform. Always faithful. That's a Marine. Because everybody knows a Marine's not going to go. Heck, we don't. We guard the frickin' gate. So before you get in, go see St. Peter. All you people who think you're better than or treated people underneath or turned up your nose, remember, you got to go through people like me to get there. And always remember one thing. Just remember this real simple. If you're in a bind, you need help, or there's something that's catastrophe happening to you, think about this. Are we going to come to help you? Or are we going to take a knee? Wolfpack, I'm out.